And now for lesson 7, we're going to take each one of these mixers and go through the onboard effects as well as equalizers that are built in. Every mixer has an equalizer of some sort, and most boards will have some sort of built-in sound effects. Sound effects are important for reverb, distortion, delay, all those things. Reverb is a very common one that we put on vocalists as they're singing, depending on their want and their desired sound. Equalizing is something that we will do with almost any sound that comes into a mixer. What that is that controls the frequencies that are within that sound, so we can boost the low end or cut the high end or anything like that. So we're going to pop up top again and see how the equalizers and the onboard effects work on these mixers. Now we're going to look at using equalizer or EQ and other effects on this Behringer board. As it is a digital board, this EQ module right here is the same one that will affect the EQ on every channel. To use it, I can select the channel I'm looking for, channel 1, and now I have everything here. If I click View in this section, this brings up an equalizer band on my screen. So right now, the way that I had this set last time I used it, I had all my low ends rolled off and a little bit of low rolled off in the middle there. And as I talk into my microphone, you can see the frequencies that are being emitted are showing up there. So over here, I can click on Mode, goes through a couple different settings. And what I can do is turn my gain up or down. You can see my low end rolling off there because I have low end selected. If I want to use my low mid, I can do that. And that highlights my yellow section and turning that up or down. And then high mid is my purple, up or down. And then my highs is my orange section, and I can turn that up or down. Now, if I know of a specific frequency that I want to control, I can turn my frequency dial. And again, you can see my orange dial moving over here. If I want to pinpoint, say I know that I want to roll exactly 6,000 hertz off, I can roll that to as close to 6,000 as I can get. That's 5,097, and I can turn that up or down. Now, if I want this bar here to be a broader or a more narrow swoop, I can use what's called my Q. And if I turn that down, you can see that's getting much more narrow. Let me turn that up. That's getting much more narrow. If I turn that up, it's becoming much of a broader sweep. So these are the main controls you have for EQ. On a bigger board, you do have more controls as our 4 bands, our Q, frequency, and gain controls. But this visualization over here really helps us see all of the frequencies that are coming into our mic and allows us easily to boost and cut exactly where we want. Let's say we were to get feedback, we would often see a spike in a red bar here. And that way we can pinpoint exactly what frequency it is, and we can roll that frequency down. Now to use other effects on this X32 board, we're going to find our bus 9 to 16. That gives us our effects over here. It might be hard to see on the camera, but they have little FX in the corner of each of those scribble strips. And there are a lot of built-in effects on this board. Once again, you can check the manual or go through the settings to find those. But I know that FX, my first FX there, has reverb defaulted to it. So I'm going to turn that up. And just like our monitors, we're going to select this, click Sends on Fader. And if I come over here to my channel 1, I can unmute it and turn it up. And this controls how much of that effect is being sent to channel 1. Now I need to go here to aux-in USB FX returns, and I need to turn on, unmute my FX1, because that is now returning my effects back to the main bus. This is sending effects to my channels, and then this here is returning all those effects to my main bus. So if I go back to channel 1, unmute and turn it up, check, 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 you'll hear my voice with some reverb. If I want more or less reverb, I can control that here. Check, 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 check. So that is how we can control effects on this board. Now, again, there are a ton of different built-in effects here, and you can go through and mess with them to see which one you like. but knowing there's a reverb default is really helpful, as that is our most commonly used effect. Now we're going to look at how to use our onboard effects on our Personas board here. If you look up at the screen, you have digital effects, and this is where we control our effects A and effects B. So we have two different effects we can have going at the same time on this board. There's a lot of different onboard effects on here, and you can use this dial here to scroll through. Once again, if you check out the manual, you'll be able to see all of the effects that are available on here. Right below here, we have FXA and FXB. And it also has two buttons here, aux 1 to 4 and main. Whichever one of those is lit up tells us where the effects is being sent to. So if we want to just go into the main speakers, we can click main. If we want to go into the monitors as well, we can click aux 1 to 4. If we just have main, that's all we need for right now. Once again, this knob here controls how much main effects we have. And then over here, there's an FXA button. If we click on that, that will now set these meters up to tell us how much effects is being sent from each channel. So if I turn up our dial on number 1, I am turning up how much effects will be through my channel number 1. So if I unmute, check, 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 can hear me coming through the speaker, check, check, check to turn up effects A, hello, 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 check, 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 check. You can now hear the reverb coming through that channel. We can turn up however much of that effects we want in each individual channel here, and that would put that same effect on all of them. In addition to using the effects on board, we want to look at the equalizer. This equalizer controls whichever channel is selected. And we have selected channel shows up there as well. So select channel 1, we can turn our gain down on our low, our mid, or our high in what we call this 3-band EQ. And we also have a frequency control, so we can turn that up if we want to pinpoint specifically which frequency we want to control. So I can turn my lows up. If I want to boost my lows, I can turn them down if I want to roll my lows off. Same thing for each one. I can turn my mids up or down, and my highs up or down. And that is our equalizer on the Personas board. Now we're going to look at onboard effects for this small Behringer board. If we look over here, we have a small effects section. This top black knob, you can control through different types of effects, and then click when you find one that you want. I'm just going to go back to 1 and click here. We can say reverb is 0 to 39, delay is 40 to 59, and so on. There's some other effects there. Now, if you have the manual, or you could look up online to see what each one of those is, but we're just going to go with number 1, delay. Right below there, it says FX to main. This is our main amount of effects that we are sending to the master volume. And each individual channel has this same green knob to control how much is through each channel. So if I pick up my microphone, check, check, there's no reverb. If I turn up this effects, check, 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 you can hear the reverb in my voice. Once again, very simply, this is our main effects amount. This is our effects coming from each individual channel. On this small Behringer board, we can also see that each channel strip has a 3-band EQ. We have highs, mids, and lows for each channel. We can turn our highs up or down. Same with mids, same with lows. There's also called a low cut button, and if we push that, that rolls off everything below 80 hertz. This is how we control our EQ for each individual channel on this small Behringer board.